Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be around the globe. Today, we want to look at the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. Over these few days, I've been discussing some of the fundamental things that we have to know before getting into learning about the fundamentals of business. Okay, and one of the key issues that we have to actually know is are the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. What does it take? What are the attributes or traits that you must have in order to be successful at entrepreneurship? Okay. As I indicated in my earlier post, it is not really everybody that can be an entrepreneur. Even though you can train yourself and develop yourself into becoming an entrepreneur, it is very, very important to ask yourself whether you have these attributes in order to be successful when you finally decide to go into entrepreneurship. So let's take a look at some of them. So the first point is that you must have a strong desire to be a winner, or you must have the need to achieve. All right. Because of the difficulties that are involved in entrepreneurship, you must have a strong desire to succeed in order to be successful in entrepreneurship. There will be a lot of hurdles, there will be a lot of challenges right from the day you decide to set up your own business. Okay, the basic one, especially if you were formerly an employee and you decide to quit your job and start, one of the key things you have to deal with is the issue of loneliness. Okay, loneliness. You will have to be willing to work alone, especially at the beginning point of your business. And until you have a strong desire to be a winner, or you have a high need of achievement to achieve something great, the difficulties and the challenges within the early days of entrepreneurship or starting a business is likely to throw you off guard. Okay, so it is very, very important to have this strong desire to be a winner, or to have a strong need to achieve. Okay, those who normally have the need for affiliation will struggle with entrepreneurship. So the need for affiliation is where you desire to always be in the company of other people. You work better when you are in a work setting with your colleagues or with your friends and people. You always want people around you, people to show you love, people to show you appreciation. If you are that type of person, it will be very, very difficult to succeed in entrepreneurship. Okay, because most of the time, at the starting of your journey, you will be doing a lot of things alone. And so you must have a strong need to achieve vis-a-vis the need for affiliation. If you have if you have a lot of need for affiliation, you might be more suitable working in an organized work setting where you have friends and colleagues or work colleagues to interact with than to venturing into entrepreneurship. So that is the first point that we have to know in our quest to get into entrepreneurship. Point two is stick to its quality or perseverance. All right. So we need a lot of perseverance in order to be successful as entrepreneurs. The reason here also is that beyond the loneliness and all kind of things that you may be dealing with, most of the time when you start a business, it goes through normally what is known as a J curve, where you don't start with the making of profit. You are likely to actually in the initial stages or years of setting up a business to be making losses. All right. And this happens because most of the time you will have invested a lot of money into putting up fixed cost, maybe buying land, getting the equipment and the machines and the setup to start your operations. Okay, those investment takes some time to be able to recoup. And at the same time, this is the period that a lot of customers or consumers might not know about your existence. And so the demand for your products and services are likely to be low. Okay, so at the initial stages of the business, it is for the first 5 years, you actually need a lot of perseverance and consistency in order to be able to succeed. This point actually explains why most businesses fail within their first 5 years of establishment. All right, because at that point in time, you need a lot of endurance. You have to keep investing, you have to keep working hard, you have to keep believing, and then seeking for more customers or more ways to get people to know about your existence and your product. Okay, having said that, it is also important to know that you always persevere at the right idea or something that makes sense, something that is solving a need in society. Okay, if the product is good, the demand is okay for the product, but it is just that people have not yet known about your existence in terms of the type of product or service that you are rendering, then it is okay to persevere and continue. Okay, but however, if the idea is faulty or bad, and you didn't take your time to conduct any market survey to understand the needs of the market before starting that particular business, it will make a lot of sense to just close it down quickly so that you can cut your losses. All right. You may decide to venture into something else after proper analysis, but don't persevere at the wrong idea. You will simply increase your woes, you will simply increase your losses. So it is very, very important that we understand the perseverance or stick to it quality within a context. It is within a context of rendering something, a product that is good, a product that is needed. It is within the context of serving or providing a service that is required by society. Okay. So in spite of the fact that you might have a good quality, a good product, you might have quality service, the natural thing is that when you start a business, you won't start making profit from the go. It will take some period of time to recover your investment. It will take some period of time before customers will get to know about your product. It will take some period of time for them to come to accept the product or services that you are offering. That is within the context of persevering, so that if you stick to it and you keep at it, with time, they will come to appreciate the kind of product or service that you are offering. And with time also, you will have covered some fixed costs and other variable costs in your operations and start then making some level of profit. Okay. But if you find out that the idea is not something that anybody is actually willing to pay any money for, you just out of emotions, you decided to get into that business. You've been working at it and it's not succeeding because fundamentally the product is not correct or the service is not right. The best advice I'll give is that you quit that business, take some time to reflect, and probably start a new business altogether. Okay, so it is not about sticking to that which is not working. It is about sticking to that which has potential for growth, only that because of the nature of all businesses, it will only take time before the product will become something that everybody gets to know and buy into it. So that is the context when you need to persevere. All right. Point 3, you have to have the quality and the ability to take moderate to calculated risks. All right. So that is the other attribute of good or successful entrepreneurship. In spite of the market survey, market analysis you will have done, there is still some element of uncertainty in any form of business that you want to go into. All right. You will have, especially with surveys, most times they don't, respondents don't normally think through. They just take for you. And you might get excited about it. And all of a sudden, the reality dawns on you that, no, this is not really what people wanted at the time that you started the actual production. Whatever be the case, life is about uncertainty. Life is about taking risks. But the point is that it must be calculated risks. Okay, so the kind of results somebody that has conducted some level of surveys, research, might get as a result of the risk factor, okay, might not be the same as somebody just jumped into a business without taking into consideration risk elements. All right. If you do computations, you do some research, you do some form of analysis. Yes, businesses involve risks, but that has the tendency of minimizing the amount of losses that you may have to deal with at the end of the day. Okay, but fundamentally, if you are scared of risks taken, then you cannot be an entrepreneur. All right, there is no 100% certainty. No matter the type of product, no matter the type of service, there will always be an element of fear that something might not work as expected. All right. But that is also different from gambling, where you just feel that I love risks, so I just want to get into any type of business, whether I've conducted any research or not. I just feel like I can win, and therefore I want to stick or start a particular business. If you do that, it is almost like gambling. That is not entrepreneurship. Okay, so the risks should be calculated. The risks must be moderate. All right, the moderate aspect is also very, very important. It is always important to test the market with some limited amount of investment or products before you go the large scale based on the demands of the product. You don't do mass production, high volumes, get the product to the market and nobody's interested in that. That can increase your losses and your pain. So it's very, very important. And successful entrepreneurs know that to succeed and to do well, they must take moderate to calculated risks. All right. Point 4 is alertness to opportunities. That is also very, very important. So most of the time, I think yesterday I spoke about how to identify business opportunities, right? Most of the time, the things that people use to succeed are things that occur to everybody every day. The difference is the sensitivity that successful entrepreneurs have. Okay, for example, I was talking about the fact that one way by which you can get to know a business opportunity is when you hear about customer complaints. Okay, they go for a particular service, the service is not properly rendered. Probably it is your own experience. The product, you buy a product that you thought you could use for a year or two, within the next day, a spoiled, and so on and so forth. Okay, for most of us, that will just be a normal event. We'll complain about it, and that is the end of it. All right. But if you have an entrepreneurial tendencies in you, you should be able to know that if this product is something that I need, it means that maybe there might be several other people that need that particular same product. But what is wrong with the product is that the quality is not good. And so I will get into business to provide same or similar product with better quality than what I bought. Okay, so the opportunities will come to us in several forms. I also spoke about the fact that if you travel abroad or go elsewhere and see something that is happening there that is not available at home, straight away, if you will be a successful entrepreneur, you should be thinking about how to replicate same when you come back home. And I explained that going abroad doesn't necessarily mean traveling outside of your home country. Sometimes it might be moving from the village in which you are to a city, or the countryside to the city. You've seen something in the city that is not available where you are, or the reverse. It could be that you are from the city, you went to the village or town somewhere and saw something that you felt people in the city will want. And so you come starting a business with that idea that you saw. Okay. All of that come as a result of your alertness to opportunities. If you are not conscious about them, there are several things happening around us and sometimes to us that could provide very good business ideas for us to become successful at entrepreneurship. So one of the qualities of successful entrepreneurs is that they have acute alertness to opportunities. All right. They don't just let opportunities slide by. They are able to think through to see the opportunity in those challenges. So that brings us to point 5, very close to that. They have analytical ability. Okay, they are able to connect. So from the earlier explanations, most of us, when we face challenges, all that we're thinking about is how to get it solved. And once it is solved, we don't see the business opportunity in that. Okay, but people that will be successful at entrepreneurship are able to analyze their own challenges, their own problems. Sometimes it is not their personal problems. It might be a problem that a colleague is facing, but they're able to connect things, okay, and find out how best, by trying to solve this problem, how can I convert the solution we've been able to provide into a business? So they tend to have a strong analytical ability, all right? So apart from even identification of business ideas where this analysis are applied, they also are quantitatively minded. Okay, if I producing at this cost and I'm selling at this cost, how much profit will I be making? How much should I sell in order to sell more? All those analysis you need to have. Okay, you need to be very good at in order to be successful, a successful entrepreneur. So one of the attributes or traits of successful entrepreneurs is that they have very strong analytical ability. Point 6 is that they tend to use feedback properly. All right. So based on my earlier explanation, one way by which businesses fail their customers and therefore lose customers is the fact that they don't attend to or listen to customer complaints. Okay. So the reverse is also true. If you're in business and you're listening to your customers and improve your product and services in response to the complaints that customers have, then there is some level of certainty that you will succeed. Okay, because whatever comments a customer makes, whatever negative feedback, especially you get, it's an opportunity to improve and to modify the way things are done in the organization. So if you have the tendency of just brushing aside the complaints of your customers, because currently you're making good sales, most times that is what happens, right? You've set up something, you are producing something, because there is no substitute to that product. You don't really listen to your customers, their complaints and their worries and concerns. It is just a matter of time. When a competitor comes to the market producing the same product, rational consumers and customers will move from you and get to this particular competitor. So successful entrepreneurs know this, and they pay attention to the feedback that they get from their clients and they get from their customers. All right. If you use them, it can help you to improve upon your business processes, and that will help you to be able to succeed, sell more, make more money, and become more profitable. Okay. Point 7, they are hope for success, or they are optimistic. So it's very similar to the point 1 that we spoke about. Okay. Entrepreneurs tend to be very optimistic people, because you must believe that you'll be successful in order to keep going at something that you are currently involved in. If you are scared that something will go wrong, there is the higher tendency that you cannot persevere. So you need optimism. All right. But it must not be done in a vacuum. I explained much earlier that you get optimistic only when you are certain about the kind of idea, the kind of product, the kind of service that you are offering. Okay. If there's a wrong product, no matter your level of optimism, you will fail. So optimism comes in when you are certain about the product, and yet, in spite of the fact that it's a good product or a good service, there might still be challenges with entrepreneurship. If that is the case, then keep to it, keep working at it, and with time, it is very, very likely that you will be able to succeed at it. But don't go and pick a wrong idea. Don't go and pick something that you just wished it existed, but there was no research or survey to back it, and then get optimistic about that. If you do that, you'll still fail. It is not the optimism. The optimism helps you to be able to carry that idea to as many people as possible. The optimism helps you to be able to sell that product to as many people that need it as much as possible. But if it's a product that nobody needs or a service that nobody wants, no matter how optimistic you are, you will still fail. So optimism is within the context of having a good idea that you have started or built your business upon. Okay. Point 8 is about independence. Once again, point 1, in explaining point 1, I touched on this. You must be independent-minded, or I think point 2. That is where we spoke about having the need for achievement. So people with high need for achievement are people that are able to work independently. They don't need to have to work in groups. They don't need other people cheering them up. They are people that can set high or challenging targets for themselves and work hard in order to be able to achieve it. By nature of entrepreneurship, the fact that you have to work alone, you have to start a business alone, you have to be making the decisions alone, especially at the starting stage or at the beginning point of your business, you need to have a high level of independence to be able to succeed. Okay, you'll not have anybody coming to share your app. You go and open the shop or office or wherever it is, and you might be alone at that office for the whole day. Okay, when there is some crisis that you have to handle, unlike your workplace where you can go call for departmental meeting to get ideas, when you're starting, you have to think through all of the nuances and come up with the right decision. So if you don't have strong level of independence, the ability to work alone, then it becomes difficult to succeed in entrepreneurship. All right. So those that have the tendency of working independently, thinking independently, taking decisions independently, have a higher chance of becoming very successful entrepreneurs. Okay. Point 9, we can't stress that enough. You have to have the ability to cope with stress. It is very, very stressful. The sheer workload of what you have to do. Okay, you have to probably be getting up earlier than everybody. You may have to close later than all of your other employees. That can have a toll on you. So you must have the ability to deal with stress. If you cannot cope with the stress in handling multiple tasks, the stress of taking very hard decisions. Okay, sometimes, for example, if you have to say fire some employee that you are somewhat related to or with, it is stressful. But for the sake of your business, if you want your business to succeed, you have to make some hard decisions in order for the business to go on. Okay, so the workload, the decisions that you have to make, and all that, if you are not even careful, most of the time it may have a toll on your health. All right, so people that have the ability to deal with stress, we said when you start, there are no guarantees. For the first 5 years, 3 years, you are likely to be making losses, and that is not an easy thing to deal with after all the investment that you have made. But if you can deal with all of this stress and improve upon whatever you are doing, then with time, there will be some profit or some benefits coming from all the stress that you've been through. So people that have the ability to cope with stress, okay, deal with multiple issues, handle several things at the same time, and still have a very smiling face and still behave as though nothing is happening, will have a better chance at succeeding in entrepreneurship. All right. And point 10 is a summary of all that we've said so far. You need to have a positive self-concept. All right. So how do you view yourself is very, very important in dealing with all or most of the challenges that will come at you in your quest to become a successful entrepreneur. All right. For example, if you're even dealing with customers, there are many of them that will not be friendly. All right. They will make fun of you. They may tease your product, even though it might not have any functions, and so on and so forth. If you have low self-esteem, these things are likely to get at you, and probably you might close down your business because you don't have a positive self-concept. All right. You'll be dealing with all manner of stakeholders that will say all manner of things at you, but you need to have a lot of self-confidence. You need to have a lot of self-belief in order to deal with all this kind of stress and challenges that come up as a result of your quest to be a successful entrepreneur. So successful entrepreneurs have a lot of confidence. They have a lot of self-belief. All right. They tend to have self-leadership. They motivate themselves, and so on and so forth. So it's important that you see yourself as somebody who is an achiever, somebody who can make it, somebody who can succeed at something in order to be successful at entrepreneurship. So a positive self-concept. If you have low self-esteem, if you don't see yourself as important, and all of those negative mindset or emotions, they will have a big toll on your business as you come across or get into contact with the stakeholders that you'll be dealing with in your business. All right. So thank you very much. This some of my thoughts with regards to the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. I hope that in your quest to become an entrepreneur or a businessman, you will be paying attention and developing yourself in these particular areas. Thank you once again for your attention.